Hi, everybody. Matt Bernier, joined by DRF's national handicapper Mike Watchmaker, taking a look at this weekend's Weekend Warrior, Saturday, April the 21st. Mike, it feels like a little bit of a different weekend. There's no Kentucky Derby preps. That's all in the rear view at this point, but there's still some good racing going on. Let's start off at Keeneland, a mile and a half on the turf course, the field for the Grade 2 Elkhorn. You've got a couple of horses coming in from California that look like they're going to be the favorites in this spot, but you want to take a shot against them.
I am. I have no argument with It's in the Post and Hayabusa 1. They are 1-2, the two best turf males in California right now, and It's in the Post won this race last year. So I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if either one of them won this race. I just think Bullard's Alley, my pick, is a viable alternative at a better price. Bullard's Alley, if you remember, is the horse who last fall absolutely destroyed his field in the Canadian International on a bottomless turf course at Woodbine. He earned a 114 Beyer speed figure in that race. It was a devastating performance, no doubt enhanced by the turf conditions, but still it was a devastating performance. Over the winter, I thought he raced in reasonably good form at Gulfstream Park. He was a narrowly beaten second in the Allen Jerkins. He was a close third in the McKnight. The last time out, he was fifth in the Pan American. And I think that those performances actually show that Bullard's Alley is very sharp right now, because anyone who watched the racing over the winter at Gulfstream knows that that turf course was like a dirt course painted green. I mean, it was very hard, and it wasn't really turf racing. And I don't think that that's the kind of footing that Bullard's Alley wants. I think, now he's not going to get the soft footing he got at Woodbine, but he's actually going to get a real turf course at Keeneland. I think the footing is going to be much more conducive to his preferences, and I think he's got a reasonable chance to upset the two favorites in here.
Another full field in a turf race at Laurel Park on Saturday, race number 9, the Henry S. Clark. You can go a million ways in this mile turf event. You're going to go with Ghost Hunter, returning to the turf for the first time since the Arlington Million.
Ghost Hunter is very intriguing to me because he's repeating a pattern that almost translated to victory in this race last year, and that he completed his 2017 season with a series of starts on synthetic racing surfaces, which he runs well on. He did the same thing in 2016. He completed his campaign with a series of synthetic track starts, and then he made his 2017 bow in this race, the Clark, against, I thought, a better field, a stronger field. And he was a narrowly beaten third in that race behind Ascend, who came back to win the Grade 1 Manhattan with a 104 Beyer figure in his next start. And second in that race was Synchrony, who's won his two starts this year at Fairgrounds like one of the best turf horses in the country. He doesn't meet those kind of horses in this spot. He's repeating that pattern. It's an easier spot. He's going to offer value. Why not? This is a wide open race.
And then we'll wrap things up with the Charlestown Classic, a Grade 2 event, 3 turns, going a mile and an eighth. It's not a big field, but I think it's an interesting race. You can go a couple different ways. You're going to go with something awesome.
I am going to go with something awesome. I mean, just because it's a 7-horse field doesn't mean it's a bad betting race. It doesn't automatically mean that. Many times 7-horse fields are bad betting races. In this case, I think the two favorites in here are vulnerable. Diversify did win the Grade 1 Jockey Club Gold Cup last fall, but he's making his first start in 5 months, going a mile and eight, around 3 turns. If he wins, I tip my hat to him, but I don't want him under those circumstances. War Story comes into this off a very impressive win in the Challenger at Tampa Bay. He got a 107 Beyer speed figure in that race, but he's a horse who seems to have difficulty pairing up triple-digit Beyer speed figures. In other words, he regresses after he runs really big. I thought something awesome was interesting in here, what ought to be a decent price. He's become a completely different animal since changing bards and moving back to the dirt last fall. He's 4 for 5 since then. He's won the Johnson Memorial and General George in his last 2 starts. He's in career form. Last time out when he won the Johnson Memorial at this mile and eighth distance, he got a sweet stalking trip, and I think he's going to pull the same kind of trip this time. I just think he's the now horse in here, and I'm just against the two favorites.
3 interesting races coming up on Saturday afternoon. DRF's national handicapper Mike Watchmaker. You can find the Weekend Warrior, your entire write-up over on drf.com. Great stuff as always, Mike. We'll talk again next week.
Thank you, Matt.